want to start some shit? I'll fucking take all you want.
Welcome, everybody, to an all-new, all-different, first-time ever episode of Strange Waves, the Strange Waves Comics and More podcast. I'm Ben Roberts. I own the store, and I hope to be your buddy. We're about to open up this location. People kind of know what it is. They don't really know what it's becoming, and it's something that's been sitting in my brain for so long, and there's so much work that has been put in by myself, my wife, Hannah, and my parents over the past couple of days to get this place turned around and really feel like something new and all different. So because it's so busy in my head, I don't know how to talk about it. So one of my best friends, creative partner, Sam Romesburg, is here, and he offered to him walk me through it, provide me with questions, because I could just blab it all you for the next 6 hours, and there's nothing fun about that. So let's get to it. Hey, Sam, you know the best thing about the Strange Waves podcast?
Hit me.
You can cuss.
Fucking sick.
Dude, it's so sick. So fucking sick.
Let's do it. Dude, I mean, because we were talking about this for a minute, and I think you and
I'm also going to vape on the podcast because we've got video.
Do it. If I had one, I'd have it. I'm at one of these. I'm showing White Monster. And it is 9:30 at night. I don't give a darn, dude. But we have a tendency to kind of check in. I mean, we've known each other through comics for over 10 years now, right?
Yeah.
Easily.
And I think, this does tie into Strange Ways, is that we know each other from music first.
Yeah, 100%.
And though that's still like a big part of what this is. But yeah.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna touch on the whole Venn diagram thing. But we have a tendency to, in comics, you and I kind of check in with each other whenever one of us is starting something new or about to embark on something. And through this process with you and I have been talking a lot about kind of what's going on. So that's kind of where I wanted to start. Is I've been thinking about what this looks like for you, and I think that for especially comics in Greensboro or really North Carolina and maybe even beyond that, you're kind of this known person in this known place. You're still in the same store location, but now you have you have a different name attached to you. So I wanted to start by kind of being what is Strange Ways, and what does that mean to you?
Well, I mean, I've been thinking about this for a long time, for years. I'm going to just talk about the name first because it ties into what you just asked. Is this it? I can't even remember some of the ones I jotted down in notebooks, but I always saw what it should be or what it should feel like. And in the past have come so close to hitting the mark, but this is completely, hopefully, it's hitting the mark for me, but hopefully for everyone else. So Strange Ways, Comics and More. Strange Ways is a Kiss song written by Ace Frehley. Peter Criss sang on it. It was on Hotter Than Hell. And, it's been a weird year for me. And one of the weirdest days was the day that Ace Frehley died.
Yeah.
My wife had some health problems right before that, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, right after, the next day, So I was like, oh, Ace Frehley dies, and my wife's gonna die, but she's great, she's healthy, she's awesome. And I was driving around with Hannah because we were like doing some things, and she was just letting me go because I was at band practice, and then I felt it, and I was like, oh man, like celebrity dies, whatever. But that was like the one. I have an Ace Frehley tattoo, and I was talking to her, and I was like, yeah, I like always had this idea for like another band called Strange Ways. And she was like, that's it. That should be the name of the store.
Mm.
And it did click. I went, that's really cool. Because no one knows that it's a Kiss song, and that should not deter anyone who does not like the band Kiss, and I don't blame you, especially not now. And I was like, yeah. And it like had a feeling and it had a vibe, and I was like, it's it's fun. It's like really fun. Like, and it was like that thing. Like, I was like, man, if I can visualize the logo, it would be a place where I was like, oh, if I was in town or somewhere or growing up, I'd be like, that's where I want to go. And, as this has taken shape, I've worked in comics retail for a long time, but the best part of the job is always, it's not even reading comics. It's not even, you know, unboxing stuff or, messing around with action figures. It's talking to people, and it's watching people get excited about something, or watching people, two people who don't know each other stop in the store, and that someone overhears something, and then these two people connected by this one interest strike up a conversation, develop a friendship. I got married last year, and most of the people that were at my wedding were people I met from comics. And there's something really powerful about that. And I think it speaks to what comics are, and comics in North Carolina and in Greensboro, because it has always been a big deal in this city. I mean, going back to the early 80s, through multiple stores, through multiple events, there were massive conventions that were put on by Parts Unknown and Acme Comics in the 80s that brought, Kirby was here, Harvey Kurtzman was here, Will Eisner came. And, over the years I've talked to John Hitchcock, the owner of Parts Unknown, and it's a thing. Comics are just a thing, and this city has always eaten it up. I think, last year when I did Free Comic Book Day, I wanted it to be this massive like block party, not just come through the line, get your free stuff and be like, see you next year. It was bringing in other businesses, and it just all kind of started coming together where I was like, it's about community. That's always how I've operated in most things I've done, and that's been my favorite part of playing music. And so Strange Ways to me is community. That's really like the first thing. And some of the most fun I've had was when, the store would host comedy shows, and we'd have a bunch of people in here, or we would sometimes just have a TV, sometimes use a projector. We'd stream wrestling pay-per-views, and it's just like people that now have become friends through those things because it happened here. And that's not taking credit for anything. It's just, that's what's fun about it, is connecting people.
It's so to kind of jump off of that, when you told me the name, I was like, oh yeah. So good call, Hannah, on that one. But like, what you just said is so true. Like, that's why we are friends to this day. Like, we met playing music, but then kind of started talking about Preacher and these other things that really mean a lot to us. And it's funny that you say that, because like that feeling of, I don't know, just like your group that you have there is something I don't have here at my home. So like, you're in North Carolina, I'm in Frederick, Maryland. my comic book shop, I go in there every month, and the owner uh, will introduce himself to me every time. And I'm like, yeah, I know who you are, dude. Like,
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
it's it's very, very different. And like when I go down there, I feel like I have my own friends. Like I'm like, oh, it's Riley, it's Dan, it's Kevin and Mint. It's like I have found these people that I really care about through your store. And like that's a part of this that I really wanted to kind of touch on. Like Strange Ways is by far my favorite store I've ever been to. There's something about walking into it that it feels very personal to me, and it feels like it's kind of tailor made to my own interest, which is crazy, right? I can't like it's hard to pinpoint exactly what that is and why I feel this kinship that I do with the people that are also in there. And it's really hard to like define. So I want to ask you if you know what that is. Like what to you what separates Strange Ways from the comic book shop down the road? Like what it like you said, isn't Greensboro like the comic capital of
It is
the US or something, right?
it is Comic Book City, USA. It is
Comic Book City,
official.
USA.
Um, you know, and I think that was that is bigger than anything I've ever said because it it's so deep and it's so ingrained, and I mean it is in the fabric of Greensboro. It's really weird because all right. I'm gonna tie Comic Book City USA. I'm gonna get back to what you said. Um, so I think this is important. Um, and I'll say great things about him. If you ever want to talk about professional wrestling and you're in Greensboro, you should go to Parts Unknown and talk to John Hitchcock. He has a great book called Front Row Section D, because it's this. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Um, North Carolina, especially Greensboro. Greensboro was the professional wrestling capital of the entire world at one point in time. When the territories were still a thing, Crockett Promotions, Mid Atlantic Wrestling, like this was the hub. Like this was where you saw like Ric Flair and Sting and like the Rock and Roll Express. Like this all, then that all led to WCW. But that is in the fabric of North Carolina. I watched a great documentary not that long ago called I think it's like Walking with Giants, and it's about, they kind of leave Greensboro out, but they talk about it. But it's about wrestling at the Dorton Arena in Raleigh. And it hit me because Hannah's obsessed with wrestling, even more than me. And we didn't get the Panthers, the Carolina Panthers, or the Charlotte Hornets until the 90s because wrestling happened every week. They would do Atlanta, Greensboro, Raleigh, Richmond. But there was wrestling every single week in Greensboro. Local news station had a warehouse that they did televised wrestling once a week. And people treated it like church. Like they went, they never missed it. It was, you were there. It was your
So
third
sick.
space, which is a word I'm starting to use more. And that's why we didn't get sports teams, because until, WWF ran everything dry, that was it. It said it's wrestling and racing were the two things. That's what we didn't need football because, we had wrestling. My grandfather would come down from Virginia to watch wrestling at the Greensboro Coliseum. And I think that's like comics, where for some reason I'm not going to give it to Ric Flair, but I'm going to give it to somebody who it dropped a little bit of like this magic here, where I think because since then, a lot of things, downtown Greensboro is exploding now. The colleges are doing better. But before that, there really wasn't, when I grew up, there was nothing to do. I always thought like, can't wait to get out. And then now I love this place. The siren song of Greensboro calls everyone home. There's something weird about that too. And it's just, I think people developed this fascination with a third space that it's not work, it's not home, it's not really church. And the thing that makes a good comic book store, making it that third space, and why I think it does really well in this city is, my mom never really understood what I did or what it really was like working in a comic book store. And there's work and there's stuff. It's like being a bartender. And now that I'm married to a bartender, it is like being a bartender. You have regulars. You start to know what they want to drink. You start to know what they want to read, what they want to buy. You learn how to talk to them. And then you find yourself, they're ingrained in your life, and they've allowed you to become ingrained in their life. And I think over my time, like I said, that is my favorite part of this. And there's been other, gaming stores and, I hate the word, and we'll get to this. I hate the word nerd. I hate the word geek. That actually makes me feel less at home. Because I grew up skateboarding and playing in punk rock bands, and then comics just felt like the same thing. You're getting into Magic the Gathering. We've played, I've played, tabletop RPGs. I was like, I don't know. This is just, it's all storytelling. It's all just getting involved. 100%. Professional wrestling is my favorite thing in the world. I hate when people say it's dorky because it's the same thing. It's storytelling. And there's been so many places where even though I like the things, and, I would say this even comes up to rather recently, I never felt at home because I think there is a thing, because I was like punk kid or metal guy or, the things that I don't like I'm getting back into Marvel movies. I don't even know how, but, dude, did you see the X-Men trailer?
What are you talking about?
Dude, someone leaked the X-Men teaser trailer for Doomsday, and I was like, yeah. And it's not the AI one. There is an AI one. There's a real one.
Dude, there's an AI one for everything now. It's ridiculous.
We're screwed. Yeah.
Go ahead.
And I but I was like, I just don't, that's not what it is to me. Like, I do love comics. I love comics more than I love like watching movies more than anything. But I was like, I see the intersection of all these things, and people talk about it. And, Alex Brinegar, who we'll probably get to, he's done some art for Strange Ways now. And it's like, he was like, oh, there's skateboarding art is comic art. It's the same thing. And it was like punk, skateboarding, comics, it's all there. And comics were always a part of those things in some sort of way. And I think there's a thing where like Spider-Man rocks. I love Spider-Man, but also like giving people who are like, I don't, Hannah's a great example. She was like, I never thought I would like comics. And when we started dating, she read Sex Criminals and she got hooked. And then she just chewed through Brubaker Phillips stuff, and she just reads. And then, over the past couple months, I've been like, all right, now I'll give you some superhero stuff. Cause if you like it as much as you're saying, then yeah. And, a couple months ago, someone never read a comic in their life, didn't think they liked them, just was like, what about like crime stuff? And I was like, all right, you're going to read, here's Reckless. And I was like, if you don't like it, we'll figure something out. But then hooked. She was hooked. And she like goes to A&T. And this is cool, I'm going to say it, which is an HBCU. But then went Reckless rocks. And that's what comics are. And that's the conversation, and that's the learning people's tastes, and that's making them feel at home when, if you went somewhere, like, I don't want to trash talk any comic book stores anywhere in the world, but I have some favorites. And there's, I've been places and I'm like, yep, there's Deadpool. There's nothing wrong with Deadpool, but it's just, you know, it has to be a place where people want to be at, and the barrier to entry of comics or anything is gone. You know, they, you know, you've grown up reading superhero comics, and you know that there's you have to be, there's like a way your brain has to work, kind of, which is not a bad thing, but there's good stuff and there's not good stuff, but I wouldn't give it to everyone, even if they asked. But you can bring them in one way, and then they're going to find their way there. They're going to start participating. They're going to be like, whoa, comics are not like biff, bang, pow. Comics are, I don't know. To me, it's always the greatest storytelling medium that's ever existed.
Ever. And I totally,
And it's the last surviving print periodical medium.
And it's like, I wouldn't even say surviving. For the most part, it's been kind of thriving.
It is,
like, what was it? Like, I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago, it was like the biggest year ever. Even like, think golden age, silver, it was the biggest ever.
Of course. Because, you know, I think, you know, you get a lot of naysayers online, and people are like, I don't even know if Comicsgate is still a thing. I hope not. I'm going to put a no Comicsgate sign on the door.
Do it.
But there's more comics getting made than there ever have been. And, you know, some companies come and go, some stuff isn't good, but there's enough companies that are making money to keep making comics. So it's got to be doing pretty good. You know, and I don't think comics have any threat ever to them. AI is not going to defeat comics. You know, blockbuster movies are not going to defeat comics. Digital comics did not defeat comics. And it's the coolest thing. And actually, this is why I know it's thriving. And all of the Absolute Universe titles have brought in people from all over the place, like all walks of life. It is the first time I have seen college kids on the regular coming to
sick,
comics.
Dude.
I made a joke to Hannah like long time ago, and I was like, we're all the cool, sexy people that read comics. And that's everybody. But I was like, you know, it was more of like, how do we get young people into comics? And Scott Snyder did it. He knocked it out of the park.
Dude, my dad was like an avid comics person in like the 80s and 90s, you know, 70s, and kind of stopped really. Like, he would pop in every now and then to be like, oh, what's in here, you know? I sent him the Batmobile from the Absolute Batman, and he was like, what the fuck is that? And I was like, dude, that's the current Batmobile. And I think he went and got everything that was in print. Like,
and then you're like, and also
me?
Batman's like just brick shit house big, and he's like gonna stab a guy.
Whip an ass, man.
And it's, and then that transition into DCKO, like, it was right over. And then once people knew that there was some tie-in crossover storylines there, it was even bigger. And people are coming to get it. And it is kids in college. It is people who stepped away from comics a long time ago. It is, you know, like, I used to work at a skate shop, and the owner had his stepson, and I haven't seen him in years, and he came in and was like, I'm getting all of the Absolute stuff. And he was like, I just really want to start reading comics. And I was like, dude, like, you've never read comics in your life. And that's what this store needs to be. And that's why, you know, a big focus is expanding on the community aspect. You know, you can see there's video now with the podcast, and I haven't finished the podcast studio. I'm sitting in, there's mess behind me because I'm working, but the booths, there are booths with tables. We're going to have some other seating. We are going to have like a drink cooler with, alcoholic, non-alcoholic drinks, and programming, like stuff happening all the time. Hannah and I
Yeah.
have just been like writing down ideas. What night of the week is this, and like what movie nights once a month, and we've planned out 6 months of movies, book clubs. I really want this store to get into some sort of gaming, not to the extent of some other stores, but even just providing a space for people. And this is going to sound like I'm dismissing. Um, Hannah came up with an idea called gaming with the girls, where it is for not just women, but people who don't feel like they belong at other gaming stores, who want to learn. And I said that was the best idea I've ever heard, because
That's unbelievable. Yeah.
and it's just the name. It's a joke because I've got so many female friends, and when I'm just like locked in and we're talking, Hannah calls it gabbing with the girls. And she was like gaming with the girls. And like Hannah would love playing like a tabletop RPG. Like once you can get that, she'd love it. But it's so intimidating to even get into that. And it was for me, like there used to be a tabletop RPG store like somewhere here in town, in like a little strip mall, and I went with a friend, and I was maybe like 19 or 20, and I went, and I was like, they let us sit in when they were playing like Call of Cthulhu or something, and I went, I cannot come back here. I was so stressed out. It was like it was comical. It was the Big Bang Theory. It was the comic book guy from The Simpsons, because they were pretty crass and there were no women there, and no one even, it was just like, I was like, we are in different walks of life. I'm leaving this, and I have band practice, so I got to go. And that's not like saying I'm better whatsoever. It's just, I was like, this is so uncomfortable. And of course, if you're like a female, how would you, that's not a place where you could go and learn. Or if you're a person of, non-binary, like queer, anything whatsoever, like it's not comfortable. It actually doesn't feel safe. And part of this thing was, I do want the store to seem a little bit more dangerous. That's why the intro is the way it is. That's why the announcement video was the way it is. And we can cuss on the podcast. But that's not what it is. That is pretty commonplace now. But everyone should be able to feel welcome, as long as you're not a sack of crap.
That kind of touches on, like, it's crazy to think about what you just said, because I think that's the thing. I'm really latching on to what you said about people having their third space, because that kind of hit the nail on the head for me. That's what Strange Ways has been for me when I've been there, right? Like, I am looking for that so much, and I think that's a little bit of why. So you and I have been talking, just to kind of peel back the fourth wall. We've talked a bit that I've just recently found Magic, the card game. Love it, and it's mostly because the store that I've been buying my cards from is like kind of the closest feeling to that. It's this like group of people that I'm like, oh, I want to be with you guys. Like, what is this? You know what I mean? And that's what your shop is to the T. Like, I think that's, you walk in there, I feel a sense of, I don't know, just being seen. I feel the sense of like ownership to the things that I love so much. They're just like, they're things that I think about all day, but then I'm sitting there with them, among them, with people that also feel the same way, that all know each other. And it's like, I think that feeling that you're saying that you're hoping to continue to cultivate is in a pretty good place, because you've already done a lot of the groundwork for it. Like, I know people, like, it was so crazy so I wrote a book called Hound, and my writing partner Sam Freeman and I came down to do a signing at your shop.
Yeah.
And it was the week that, what was it? It was Sting's last match or whatever.
It was Revolution. Yeah.
Yeah, so I had a friend from Frederick, Maryland, who drove down for that and was like, "Oh, I think Sam is at a shop or whatever," and he walked in and was like, "What the fuck? Where am I?" Like, it was this like transformative thing for him. He was like, "Whoa, everything I like is here," and it's like, yeah, dude, and like everyone was so cool and so nice. Like, I just think about you talking about free comic book day, and like free comic book day where I'm from is like 10 people. Like, it's not the same. Like, I think if I can say anything to people that are finding strange ways, it's like, just go, just like walk in there and kind of be in it. It's, I don't know, there's something about it. Is very true what you said about people looking for that third space, because that is 100%. That's what it is. It's like, whenever I walk in there, I'm like, I'm on vacation. I'm in like this, I don't know, this place that like really touches a lot of things that I'm looking for. And I think that is on the head what Strange Ways is, on the head.
Yeah. And even more so than what this space has ever been, because I've already said it, like talking to people, like there's nothing, it's not defeating, but like even talking to people that like stuff that I don't like, or, do just want to like dig around in back issues and be left alone. But like, there's nothing wrong with any of that. Like, that is valid. That is how you interact with this thing. And, I am trying to get Magic the Gathering, but we'll get back to that.
Let's fucking go, dude.
But I want people to stay in here and meet other people. And, I've said it to you and was in the announcement video years ago. A friend told me the job of a comic book retailer is connecting people with good stories. And I loved it because it's just, that is what it is. It's not selling comics, it's connecting people with good stories. And that's, that's them coming back. And over the years, I've changed it to connecting good people with good stories, because you deserve it. And Strange Ways is that, but Strange Ways is also connecting good people with each other.
Yeah.
Because that's been the coolest part of working in comics, and we've been lucky to meet so many people. I've been very lucky to make friends with people that I never, like, who work in comics, that at some point I would have been like, oh, it's like, wow, I love what you do. And then it's just like, oh no, that's just like my buddy now. And they're also interested in hearing what I'm doing, creatively or store wise or anything. And I go, there's some great stores that I think do everything right. Cape and Cowl in Oakland. It's the same mentality. You can see it the way Eton Manhoff, the owner, talks about it. Blackbird Comics down in Florida, it's the same thing. And they have like a gathering space, and they do things, and they want people to be there. I always think Third Eye is so different, but I think Third Eye does it.
Maryland, baby.
Velocity Comics in Richmond is a smaller store, but like Pat is, he has the same like mentality, and they don't have like seating space and beverages, but he does stuff, and he's in the community, and it's great. And I feel good going in there, but it's a different sort of store. And then I Revenge of Comics in LA has been like a huge inspiration, even though we are in different tax brackets, because what they do is they have something every single night. And they've they're very lucky. Like, they have these huge block parties in their lot behind there where like Patton Oswalt's there. They had like Reminder, Brian Michael Bendis, Matt Fraction, like everyone was just there at a thing. And they do them frequently enough, but you know, that's LA. That's different. It's not Greensboro, North Carolina, but you know, the same thing. They have seating, they have events, they have a variety of merchandise. So if you don't like one thing, you still have a place. And the way they do their social media and their podcasts is you're letting people in. You're letting people feel connected. And unfortunately, I got to make money, so please come buy stuff. Don't just like me. Don't just, you know, think I'm a good guy or think I'm not a good guy. But I don't like selling things. I like connecting people with the things that they like and just hanging out, talking.
And you're doing that. Like that's from someone who like I can speak from the like consumer side of it, that goal is completely realized every time I go in there. Like you don't start a comic book store to become a millionaire, you know. You have to.
Well, we'll see about that, man.
You got to care about it, right? But like,
oh yeah, you can't. It's not a money. You don't do it to make money. I think that you can do well if you care, and I think it shows with the stores that I talked about. Yes.
Yeah, and like I that's the thing. When I go down there, I feel like I have my friends that I just have made through this place. So like, yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing that you've got going, and I think that's like the coolest thing is like what you said is trying to like connect people to things and connect people to people. That's it. That said, I guess we're about halfway through. Do you want to take a quick break and then jump back in to some other stuff?
Absolutely. We're about to go
Let's
to
do
a
it.
word from our sponsors.
Peace.
Hey, Sam, you know what I'm just thinking about? It's just a few days after Christmas, and people need something to spend that Christmas money on.
Got it. You got to do it, dude.
You know, if Santa didn't bring you exactly what you wanted, I think we know exactly what you'll want.
Look at this book here. Printed, maybe, by Sumerian Comics. We don't know.
Beautiful.
We kind of did it ourselves. We have these in stock, and they're burning a hole in our pockets. Catch them.
Boy, aren't they.
Catch them at Strange Ways, Comics and More. You'll get a discount. Ben will sign it for you. Grab a copy.
I don't remember what the price is, but they'll be here. Children of the Grave,
There's
first
no
thing we ever wrote. Amazing.
Buy one. Fuck you. All right, jumping back into this. Everything we've talked about so far has been pretty exciting, pretty fun to think about. Kind of what's going on here, what we're transitioning to in the future. I'll just ask point blank. On the other side of that, what is scaring you about this? Is there anything you're kind of reserved about going into this new direction? Like, what's on the other side of what you're feeling about this whole thing?
So I'm scared of everything, you know, and a lot of it has been. I feel better right now. Like the past couple of days, we've gotten to move stuff around, paint, get stuff set up. I'm making some like orders for things, and that's exciting, and that feels good. It makes it feel real. The scary stuff is like the back end stuff. It's really with, you know, I am not wealthy whatsoever. This is a good opportunity, but not working with a lot of initial capital. And, you know, it's monthly taxes, it's government stuff, it's requirements like that. It's, you know, we want to have, you know, beverages, and like there's a lot of red tape through all of that, like not liquor, but like even beer and wine sales. But, you know, and then getting accounts set up, like there's only a few true distributors for comic books. Truthfully, for like floppies, there's only two. It's Lunar, it's Penguin Random House, and dealing with them has been, it's been difficult. Kudos to Lunar, they've been awesome. But as a new store, like I don't have history of like credit with anything, you know, personal credit, yes, but that is separate from the store. And so I don't think a lot of people know this, or they don't even know how it might work. And I'm being pretty honest. You know, I always say like stores buy their stuff. It's not like kind of like we can take a hit on people not getting stuff for over ordering. But as a new store, you don't have credit terms. So for Marvel, DC, Image, like your big publishers, I'm paying for everything before it ships, before it arrives at the store. I've never dealt with that before. I knew it was going to happen. And so there's so many things that I want to have in here, but I'm being incredibly cautious right off the bat. And you can build those credit terms after about 6 months to a year. So it's just planning and knowing that there's money where money needs to be, or stuff doesn't show up. And I've dealt with, you know, that exact thing before, but it's usually like delinquent accounts. And you can try and figure it out or work with them, but they don't really like, as we talked about how good comics are doing, but even just with how weird the economy is, it's scary. And I'm trying to think about what things are going to look like a couple months down the line and plan ahead so that it's not like, oh, damn, found myself like in the red, we're in the black immediately. You know, I'm thinking about Free Comic Book Day. You know, how do we do that? How do we prepare for that? Money is the biggest thing. If you ask me at the wrong time when I'm stressed out, I'm going to be like, I'm selling my car tomorrow. I'm going to, can we get on the Silk Road? I've got some organs I don't need. Can we like make some money off of that? Someone tried to get me into sports betting and talk me through how it works, or go to the casino. And I went, I cannot do that. That is, you can't tell me that you can break the code for me, because I don't think it's going to break for me.
No,
but
I'm so in the red,
dude. Like I've gone to the casino, like they open one up, like couple, it's like in Danville, so like 40 minutes away, and it's awesome. Like going is awesome.
It's the best.
And I've never been up ever at anything ever. Nope, nothing. Slots. Someone tried to walk me through like how you beat, and I was like, nope, doesn't work for me. Beat a slot machine. Blackjack, I know how to play blackjack, but I lose. Hannah gets up.
Yeah.
But she'll go one more and then it's gone. But she always wants me to be with her, and when I'm not around her, she is rocking it. And I go, we are bad. We are good for each other, but in this place we are bad for each other. in this one.
I
know. I was like, I'm gonna play this slot machine, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, I'm good. And then she was like, hey, and then it was just gone, and I was like, you can't be around me. I can't be around you.
Yeah.
But that is what's scaring me so much. Is it's just, I running a really good like making a good comic book store or a good space, that's easy. I know exactly what that is. Events, I will get tired at some point, but that's easy. That's where I can excel. And also, like, I gotta find, someone to walk me through like how social media works for children. By children, I mean anyone younger than me, because I can knock it out of the park for what I want it to be, but that's not for everyone.
Guys like us, like things
Dude,
like that.
I mean, like, you know, you've seen the video for like the intro, and I'm like, hell yeah. Hell yeah. And I'm like,
Right.
that's the mission statement right there. You think just because a guy reads comics?
Right.
But, you know, that's not going to work for everybody. And it's like capturing those people, and then like, you know, I know how to do marketing, and how do I build a budget for marketing and make sure that things are getting seen and it's not just washed out in the noise of the internet or just the noise of the city. Like, I want to do street level marketing too. And that is what freaks me out until talking to you or talking to other friends, and like, I've told enough people enough that they're like, this will be exciting. And they've offered to help, and businesses I'm friends with have offered to help at least keep getting the word out. And, you know, even Firestar Pro Wrestling, like, we're working on stuff that, you know, that's what the past years of my life have been. It was all cool and it was awesome and it was worth it because of the connections that I've made. It's going back to community, and I hope that plays out. You know, I'm pretty good at living pretty slim. You've been in bands, you've gone on the road. I've, you know, lived off of like chicken noodle soup or just a jar of peanut butter for long enough, but I'm 32. And to an extent, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to just slum it. But you know,
I mean, that kind of ties into this, right? Like, I don't know if we've made it abundantly clear yet on this podcast. I don't know who has watched this that hasn't watched the intro video, whatever. But just to be clear, like, this is now a one-man show. Like, this is your thing. You are the one who is kind of pushing this whole thing forward. You don't have the person to ask a question to like, which way should I go? How do I do that? You are the person. So that
it's locked me up
different.
a few times. It's locked me up a few times, like looking at the logo or things that I've made or just some of the art or some of the marketing stuff that I'm working on. And I'm like, I don't know what the voice is, but I do know what the voice is. Like this, what we're doing right here is the voice.
This is it.
The same voice that I have always wanted to, you know, make even louder. And it's just more of that. And that's why, you know, even this podcast, does the podcast make money? No. Does it help sell things? Maybe, but it's you're allowing me into your lives. Whoever's listening, you're allowing me into your lives. You're making me a part of your routine. And, that's a part of it.
Like,
It's not just fun. It serves a purpose. And that's where I think that's what people want. You know,
dude,
you can just buy anything off of Amazon.
Yeah.
But what makes you go to a place? And that's where I'm feeling hopeful. And, you know, people have said they're excited, and I go, okay, I'm not locking up as much, just like frozen with fear.
Yeah. I mean, if I could say something about it, I think that's the most important thing to understand with it. It's like, as long as it's authentically your thing, people will attach to it. Like, you used to do a comic book podcast previously, and it was part of my weekly routine, you know, because it was, I felt like I was kind of in the conversation. It was all things that I mean, a couple times I was mentioned in the conversation, which I was like, oh my God, it's me. But like, I think you have a way of connecting with people. I think most people that meet you are like, that guy's awesome. And I think as long as you can make that voice known to people, that's where it's gonna start to compound and get to where it's going. And like, like you were saying, like you have to make all these choices now as far as the way things look and marketing, which that's an interesting thing because the store previously had a pretty well-known, like iconic mascot person. Like there was a thing attached to it. Have you thought about that at all? Are you making choices with that?
Yeah, I definitely have. And I think I was trying to get to this, and this is why you're helping walk me through this. But I'll say this about the podcast, especially this podcast, Strange Waves, the official podcast of Strange Waves, comics and more. I want to do more fun stuff with it. And I think the established rule for the Strange Waves podcast is within reason, anyone can be on. I'll most likely be there. Or I'm going to make Hannah be on there. And I am alone, but I have to say this is that Hannah has ideas that I would have never thought of. And that's good because I get so in a lane where I just went, oh yeah, it's perfect. And it's like, no, it would only work for you and me. But yeah, no, I think I went back and forth on like having a mascot. Like most comic book stores either kind of only have a mascot or they don't do it all the way. And yeah, Strange Ways has a mascot. You will see it. It's on the website. He'll be on the window. It is Strange Dave.
Strange Dave. And it is it is a salute to maybe if you were coming into the location as it was previously when he was still living with me. I had a cat named David, and he was an orange cat, and he was really nice when he was here, when people were here, but at home or when no one was here, he was a absolute maniac. But he loved meeting people. Mm-hmm. He was literally like he reminded me of myself and my grandfather, and and he also had red hair. But yeah, I was like, David has to be the mascot because he used to like run around here. And there was one time he got up really, really high, and the train honked and it scared him. And he fell into a pinball machine and broke part of like the topper off the pinball machine. And I just looked at him, and he was like, oh yeah, I definitely did something wrong. So, very good friend of mine. One of the best people I've met. When I say people I've met in comics, like someone who's become one of my absolute best friends, Alex Brenniger. When all this was starting, I was like, Alex has to do something. And Alex whipped up a couple different versions of Strange Dave. And it's really cool because without even talking about it, and like I also have done I have an ECW thing that says Strange Effin' Ways, and like Corrosion of Conformity skull that says Strange Ways. But like I can't, that's not like fronting, that's like stickers or merch. It's not something you put facing people. But Alex was able to. That's for the people who know it to find it.
Yeah. Like that's like people will like see that sticker and be like, that place sounds cool. But like something that's on a window or like going out to the public, like it has to be a little cartoony. It has to be like at least friendly enough or fun.
Welcoming.
And Alex has done a couple Davids where like, he was like, it's like Ed Roth, like Rat Fink, skateboarding, comics. Like Alex is a big Sonic the Hedgehog guy. Like that is a goal here too, is to like get him in touch with people for Sonic the Hedgehog. And I don't know if I could ever do it, but it is it's perfect. And he's like, one of the images is David is skateboarding. He has a cool hat on, and it looks like David, and crazy eyes because David would just get all like cracked out and like, go crazy. but then he's holding like a long box of comics, and I didn't notice it at first, but like this is like talking about it's all of the things, because it is like Ed Roth. It is like David's kind of punky looking, but he's not aggressive. And then on the long box of comics, Alex did it's a logo. It's the Piss Drunks logo that I also have tattooed on my arm that I'm showing the camera, and that was like a like early 2000s, mid 2000s like skateboard crew that was like associated with Baker, and it means like a very specific era of skateboarding for me, and I didn't even see it. And that's when Alex was just like, oh yeah, it's all the same thing, like skateboarding, punk, comics. It's all the same thing, and it's like everyone can enjoy it, and you can sneak these little things in. And I was like, yeah, that's it. And I was like, that's like my favorite part. And I don't know how far David can go. We'll see. Previous mascot, we did have a mascot costume. I will not wear a David mascot costume. David no longer lives with me. I like to say David went to military academy, because he would get out and he would just be like, I'm good, dude. Don't worry about me. And he would come back and I'd be like, oh my God. So he lives on a farm outside of Richmond, Virginia. And his new mom texts me all the time. He wakes up every morning, he goes out, he greets the horses, and then he'll just be gone until it's dark or the next morning. And he's having a great time, but I sent her everything, and there's no way she gets it. But I was just like, you can show these to David, tell him thank you. And it just works. Strange Dave, I didn't know what it would be. Strange Ray would have been like a stingray, but it's David. It's Strange Dave. Yeah. And we can kind of sprinkle David into stuff all over the place. Yeah. So that'll be fun to do, and I'm excited for that. I think mascots are just, I don't know, it's fun. It's just fun. Yeah.
That's awesome. I have met Dave. Dave has ran across my chest as I was sound asleep at like 4 a.m. in your apartment.
Dude, or he would just bite you awake, and it's like he wasn't even being like evil. He was just like,
he's just being Dave, man.
Dude, he was like, why we're not hanging out, dude? Like, what are you doing? You're sleeping? Come on, man. I was like, David's God. Like, he would have been like the guy at a party, you fell asleep, and he just like draws a dick on your face. Like, 100%. Like if he had hands, he would have gotten a Sharpie, and I'd have been like, oh my God, David, why?
Oh my God. So this is another thing I wanted to ask about. Like, you are doing something kind of cool where you are starting this venture as a new year kind of starts. Like 2026 is days away. I don't know when this is going to be out. Probably after 2026 is here.
I think it'll be out the 1st.
Yeah. So here we are, 2026, right? We've talked about a couple things so far, but like, have you kind of been thinking about this as like, okay, we are starting this in a fresh slate of a new year. This is what I want to accomplish in that year. Like, do you have kind of like a roadmap of what you're thinking about doing, or where does that go?
Yeah, I definitely do. And it's happened in the past, like so many ideas. I can just come up with ideas all the time. And one of the lucky things, like I said, was people I've met and people that are like, all right, we're also going to help you where we can. And like here in Greensboro, like where we've gotten involved with the Square, which is, or group of businesses that program when downtown Greensboro shuts down the streets. And we do more than that. But the coolest thing is like, we're not technically in Hamburger Square, which is the little intersection. Like we're around the corner, but we're invited, and they all know about everything that's going on and the changes that are coming. And like, we'll start having meetings again soon to program the year. And, it's exciting. And, I've talked with LeBron Cozone of Firestar Pro Wrestling about some big ideas and like how we can all interact together better. There's sponsorship, but there's going past sponsorship, and it's the same thing. It is making this store, I hate it, this business, a part of people's lives and hoping that they want us to be a part of their lives. And, that's bigger than selling things, and it, in turn, hopefully sells things, because that's what's got to happen. But I've got some big plans. I the last Free Comic Book Day that I organized was a big deal, and trying to see how do we make that even bigger. What does a grand opening look like? Who can I reach out to? Who wants to, play a role in this? Like, put their stamp on this, like engage with it. And even when we are able to have signings or guests or something, like, I like to make it more than just we paid you money to come here and sign stuff. Like, how can we make it like a memorable event, like a thing that, it was all parts of it. I've said that, like, I'm not always good with details, but I am like a big concept guy. Like, when it comes to the total package, I can see the total package. I just need some help hammering out the details. Unfortunately, the first big goal is just surviving. And I'm finding that it's probably better to just not focus on that and fake it till you make it, which is sometimes silly, but that's all I know to do. We will be successful. What's the first big thing going to look like? Yeah,
I get that totally. And like trying to balance not like overextending yourself and getting too ambitious and then biting off more than you can chew, because like we've already said, again, you're the one man show. Like, you also don't want to burn yourself out. So that is that's gonna be fun to watch, because I don't know, every time as an outsider living in Maryland, watching stuff that you have done in the past, whenever you would post something, everything that you would have coming up, I'd be like, oh, fuck, I wish I lived there. Like, I wish I was down there to be at that. And a lot of times I would drive down. Like, I remember Daniel, when Daniel Warren Johnson came, and just all this other stuff, I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna, it's like 7 hours, I'll drive it, I don't care, it looks so fucking awesome.
Dude, the biggest thing is people still talk to me about when I was Robin in that one video, and like it kind of like broke at least like local internet. Like, it was locally. I was somewhere and someone was like, "Oh my God, we just saw you on our phone," and it's more stuff like that. Like, I mean, I love like making a fool of myself, because I just really do not think that highly of myself. Not in like a bad way, but it's just like, I don't know, like I can get goofy and put it out there if it works. And I don't know, I fluctuate. I'm getting excited about what's to come, but also like I don't want to get too far ahead of myself to where I hurt my own feelings.
That kind of ties into this, like one of the last things that I wanted to ask. I have a couple more things, but like I kind of wanted to end-ish on this kind of idea, because I think it's a good like centering foundational question, and we've kind of talked about it. We've definitely touched on it, but like I think an important thing for you to keep in mind and to keep in the back of your mind is that comics are something that for some people they might seem silly or, I don't know, childish or something like that, but you and I both believe that comics are very important. They are extremely important. Why is that?
Well, there's a personal reason. I've said this on many podcasts. We've talked about it in previous podcasts. Like, I learned to read off of comics. And, luckily in Greensboro, Comic Book City, USA, I was able to, like when I would stay with my grandparents here in town, my grandfather would take me to buy comics. It's how I learned how to read. and then, you know, get a little bit older, skateboarding, punk rock, you know, you fall out, but it was also like always kind of still there. And then there was one point, like, you know, not getting too deep, like I had a lot of health problems when I was in high school, and comics were what saved me. Like literally it gave me a reason to get excited about something. Like, and then in college, like it was still like, you know, I went to college. I had more fun outside of college playing music and, you know, getting in trouble. But, you know, the first school I went to, like I felt completely alone, but Memory Lane Comics in Wilmington, North Carolina, like I was like, that is my space. I know I can always go there. I can talk to Ben and Jake, the owners. They're cool dudes. They make me feel like I'm not getting like, it's not the comic book guy from Simpsons. It is guys that did skateboard, did surf, but they love comics and they wanted to show me stuff and they wanted to interact and they wanted to help me out where they could. And it has provided me, like even just the medium of comics has provided me a home, even within my own mind. And like, personally, comics are the most important thing. I mean, it does, like, I'm in bands. I've played in bands. I grew up skateboarding. It is bigger than any of that. Like, you know, Preacher, you and I love Preacher. Your son is named after Jesse Custer.
Jesse Romesburg, baby.
Preacher was, you know.
The page is hanging in his room.
I know. Hannah read Preacher, fell in love. Preacher was in our wedding vows. Mm-hmm. You know, I tell people my easy pitch on Preacher is it is my favorite thing that's ever been created, 100%. Ever, of all time. There's nothing. I love a lot of other things, but it's my favorite thing that's ever been made. And it's not for everyone at all, but it has meant so much to me. And I think there's just something powerful about comics and the history of comics, from the people who created things to even like to retailers to people making weird comic zines in like the 70s and 80s to like even R. Crumb and like, you know, new kind of outlaw comics like Simon Hanselman. Like, yeah. It exists. And like if you kind of zoom out, it does not make sense. It does, because it's storytelling, and it's storytelling in a way that like movies can't do, that nothing else can do. But it's, you know, when we have, you know, Avengers Doomsday coming out, I mean, if we wanted to get in the nitty gritty, what's the point of comics? Most people met Iron Man, or they're going to meet Dr. Doom through a movie. But that's actually not how it works. People want to go, I want to know what this is. Like, I want to be in the conversation. I want to be a part of this. And I think about it where, like, still unpacking copies of Amazing Spider-Man or a very small indie book, Rolling Stone magazine doesn't exist anymore. It exists only online, but comic books still come out. You and I have been able to have comic books published, and people bought them and read them. And, you know, most websites are clickbait now. Like, it is amazing. It's a testament to, like, comics evoke a feeling that nothing else can. And, like, you know, there's only big blockbuster movies that hit theaters. Like, most movies, you got a couple days to see them, that you might be a little indie, but indie comics come out all the time. People come and buy them. People are able to make a living off of comics. And, you know, I think it is, I've said this before when you and I were interviewed for creative stuff. I think the coolest thing about comics, like movies are big league stuff. That's like big. Comics and creating comics is blue collar. It's like blue collar creativity. Yeah, and the fact, I think that comes through it. It comes across in all of it, even like IP stuff like DC, Marvel, anything. Like Absolute Batman feels very Like Scott Snyder was like, I thought this was cool. I hope you guys do.
Yeah.
If not, yeah, sorry. Like he's like, I'm going to do what I want to do and hope you like it. And we're going to work real hard. And I think comics will be around forever. And I think we've already seen it in movies. You're like, it's like AI. I think they'll kill screenwriters. I hate to say that, but they might. But, you know, Jim Lee said it at San Diego Comic-Con. He said, DC Comics will never utilize AI for comics. They will never do it. And I went,
fucking right.
And I think people would go and watch a movie like that has most of its AI. It could just be all computer. I mean, people are sharing fake trailers and like it's real. And, but I don't think people would. I got interviewed on a podcast not that long ago about how AI affects comic books. And they were really selling me on AI. And there's a lot of sneaky AI. Like we all use AI and we don't even know it. And one day the machines are going to rise up and we'll have to John Connor our way out of it. But people would not, like, it already tried happening once when it was fresh and it was a comic that I don't even remember what it was called. No one wrote it. Never saw a copy of it. I don't think people would stand for that. I think comics stand alone as one creative thing in this world. And they do things that nothing else can do.
Yeah, speaking from my own thought about it, it's just like, I said something about this the other day where, like, the first step into creating anything is like being brave enough to kind of be seen with it, to kind of like have an idea that's in your own brain and then like invite people to see it. And I think that's something that will never be replicated by, not to go too far down like the anti-AI whatever, but it's something that you will never be able to replicate what that very human feeling is. And it's just like, my thing about comics is that they always start because somebody willed that thing to exist, and now it exists. Like, you don't need to worry about fucking getting a studio behind it or what the budget or locations are for any of it. It's like, hey dude, do you want to write about this person in the middle of the fucking galaxy? Go do there is no limit to what you can create. And I remember being a kid, that being the big selling point. Like I don't know if you're like this, but I have a terrible memory, but I'm like, I don't remember not knowing who Spider-Man was.
Yeah.
I don't recall finding out about Spider-Man. I just existed and was like, yeah, he was bit by a spider. You know what I mean? Like, that kind of connection is, I don't really have that with a lot of other things. And it's like, I don't know. I think that mindset, that mood is very present in your shop, and I think it's very apparent in what you choose to be front facing to your people that walk through your door. You know, like, I don't want to say, you know, customer, because it feels more than that. You know, you it's what you choose to have out and to be seen. Like, you have stuff that like I imagine what I would have done if I saw like a Shaky Kane book when I was like 10. I would have been like, what the fuck is that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think there is something for everyone, or there's something for anyone. Yeah,
I mean, there are, you know, I've encountered it. People come through and they're like, oh, no. Even if it's like a mom.
Yeah.
And, you know, they probably won't, but like, I'd be like, I guarantee we could find something that you would be like, oh, this is awesome.
Ratatouille, dude. It's in comics, they're for anyone, not for everyone. You know what I mean? Like,
that's absolutely
anybody
what it is.
Can find it. Yeah. Yeah, I think if there's anything that, as someone, if you're listening to this podcast or watching it, whatever, and you have not been in, just go.
Well, if this is going up on the 1st, I am, I'm going to say it. It's in the video, the announcement video. Really was hoping to open up on January 3rd. There's still so much stuff that I want to get done and that just needs to be ready. And then we're going to open up the first new comic book day. I think it's the 7th of January. First new comic book day of the year. It is that's December. Yeah, it's the 7th. I was right. It's the day after my birthday. But also I got married on the 1st of January last year, and if I'm about to do all of this and it's going to be so much work, I do want to just spend some time with my wife.
Yeah.
So
take a day.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do. And what you said, my goal, and I'll say this goes back to goals, and we can start wrapping it up, but is to have even more. Like, comics are one thing, and there are people that love things that they don't have a space for. Like, we are gonna be doing wrestling pay-per-views. I have a buddy that does trivia and stuff places. He always comes. He loves wrestling, and he's done wrestling entrance music bingo, and then we want to tie other things into that, and I'm hoping to expand. I think there needs to be a space for Magic the Gathering that is not like other gaming stores, that is a little bit more if you're new, I'm new too. We'll figure it out together. We'll explore, and it's not just a transaction. It's not just exchanging money, and hopefully I want to get Safubi vinyl and stuff. But we'll see what happens, because people want stuff and they love stuff, and you meet people, and I'm like, well, why didn't I know that you liked that? You should come through, and I'd love to just learn more. And so, yeah, that's the goal. Like I said, it's not just connecting people with good stories or good things. That sounds terrible, but it's, connecting good people with each other. And that rocks. What I want it to be.
Well, we've covered a bunch. I guess the last thing I would ask you is is there a lasting thing you want to say? Is there anything that you wanted to get out that you feel like we didn't really touch on?
I think the only lasting thing I want to say is, it's new. It's different. It's not crazy different. I'm not reinventing the wheel really, but it's give it a shot.
Yeah, just go.
Just come, even if it's, I don't know. I don't even know what I want to say with that, but I'm just I am excited to show you what we can do. What's good for comics, and the things we like is good for all of us. And just.
I mean, I'll say this. I know this might not be what you want to hear as a business owner, but if I lived in Greensboro, I'm not sitting here trying to sell you to go buy something. I'm telling you to just go.
Yeah.
Just
same.
For the first time, just go and talk to somebody about something, because there might be something that you come across that you don't even know that you like, that is adjacent to these things. Everything is there. Everything. It is. I said it earlier. It is my favorite shop I have ever been to, and there's something about it. Just go. I'm also glad you said that you're not opening January 3rd, because I was definitely coming. So I'm glad you told me, because I'm not going to go.
Dude.
I'm not going to drive down there.
Good.
But
thank God.
Yeah.
you can still come, dude. You can. I've got stuff you can do.
I'll work. I don't care. I'll bring my child. We'll make him work. But that kind of ties into the sentiment of what I'm saying. I have driven down there for something 5-6 times now.
Yeah.
I'm 7 hours away. But it is more than worth it every single time. Whenever I post about it when I'm down there, everyone I know is where the fuck are you? And I'm yeah, you suck. I'm here. I rock, So, yeah. last thing I'll say, just go. Just walk in, see what you find, talk to somebody. And I think that's kind of the message of the whole thing.
That's
if
it.
I had to say.
Dude, thank you for helping me talk through it, because I would have just been like, and then there's this.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, dude, thank you so much. All right, I'll just go ahead and say this. Let's go ahead and start this right now. You can email listener questions, because if anyone can be on, they'll be gonna be crazy. It's gonna be shop@strangewayscomics.com, and the website's live. You can go check out the website.
Hit it up.
Yep. All right. Thank you, man.
All right. Yep. See you in the shop.
See you in the shop.
Today